So let's get into it. Deb's House, Season 2, Episode 2, Crash Out. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, and my users and reviews, and all of y'all who have been here through the long. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Advice. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie Advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie Advice. Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review, a recap, reaction of Deb's House, Season 2, Episode 2, Crash Out. And boy, did we have a crash out. Let me bring up my notes so that we can get into it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that every time I go live, you go live right along with me. Yes, I have on a hat because tomorrow's hair day. And yeah, that's what's going on. But anyway, it's not about me. It's about Deb's house. So I'm going to bring up my notes. And I'm hoping that you all are enjoying this. There we go. So last episode of Deb's House, Season 2, Episode 1. At the end, we saw that there was an incident in the house between Amber and another young lady who was exited outside of the building. And that was because of a closet that the young woman did not want to share. At the end, Deb is having a conversation with everyone around the Deb's table, and Amber starts off with an apology. She says that she did not want this to happen and that she just wanted to lay down. But when she saw that the closet was taken and that the young lady had unpacked her whole entire wardrobe into the closet that the two of them were supposed to be sharing, she felt left out. She was asked if she felt like, this is something that has always happened to her. Is this something that she's experienced a lot before? And Amber says yes. And then she goes on to indicate, let me see if I can bring Amber up just so that you can see who she is. Okay, where is she hiding? Where is she hiding? This is Amber. For those of you all who are not familiar, she said that today was when she won the competition that she called her mommy. And of course, Amber began to cry like she always does. I believe at this point, Amber is playing on the sympathy and the empathy of Miss Debs, but I'll hold that until the end to make my final analysis on it. And so Deb says that everybody here has something that's going on, but we all have moments when we're down and going through stuff because she does as well. She said just because she has the life that she has does not mean that everything is great. Deb says that she put a lot of years in social service, being a case manager. And the one thing that she found out in the industry is that she has not gotten away from social service. She feels like in this capacity as the house mom, as the producer of the show, that she's doing the same work. So she says that she wants to turn everything around, flip the script, and build their confidence and try to throw away some of the trauma that the young ladies have been going to. She says now she's going to get the opportunity to learn some things about everybody. She says now she wants to figure out challenges. She wants to figure out who she is dealing with. How do y'all feel about that? Like, seriously, how do y'all feel about that? I feel that Deb is absolutely turning this into some type of social service program. Hey, two snaps, welcome in. Hello there, Melanie Hayes. It is like she is turning this into a social services experiment on how many women she can heal, how many women minds she can change. I don't know. I don't understand what this is. For me, I believe that this is a competition and it should be held as a competition. And you can't nurse people into health, and you can't force people to be anything outside of what they are. They should be doing their own therapy. And they should have made sure that they came here whole. See, you can't be in the music industry and have an expectation that someone is going to pacify you or babyfy you. I think that, being in music and film and theater is one of the hardest industries to be in if you have low self-esteem or have issues. That's my opinion about it. Y'all let me know what your opinion is downtown in the comments section. Welcome in, JC. Welcome in, Miss Bella. Thank you so much, you all, for joining me on this podcast. So anyway, Darcy says, I'm so serious. I think I am programmed like to turn my feelings off and get them out of the way. And when it gets to the point where your feelings are overpowering your ambition, it's crippling. And I absolutely, although I'm not fond of Darcy, I absolutely agree that your feelings will cripple you. If you already have low self-esteem, low issues. Now, of course, we all have discovered that Amber is autistic. She is high functioning. She is high functioning autism. And I don't know if Amber even wins this competition, whether or not she will still be able to make it in the music industry, because no one is going to have the time to babyfy her. Not that she needs babyfying, but she does need more attention, as we will later discover in this show. She needs more attention than the other girls do, hands down. And studio time is very expensive. I don't see people pacifying her the way that Miss Deb is pacifying her. And my suggestion to Miss Deb is that if you are going to, if this is something that you want to do, where you want to, grow this girl, you're going to have to grow her differently than the way that you are growing her, because no one in the industry is going to pacify Amber's behavior. And again, a lot of her anger is based on different triggers and stuff like that. But guess what? At the same day, we all have things, as Miss Debbie said. We all have things that, we are going through, and we're not triggered to be stomping our feet, yelling in a parking lot, as we'll later discuss. Like all of this stuff, like I'm done. I'm done, tired, and through with it. Anyway, Darcia goes on to say, do you want this or not? So we all got a story we have not heard. We're all going through something, but cry later. She tells her to cry when you get a Grammy. She says, I don't know, y'all. She says, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. She is absolutely uncomfortable being in the house, even though she is stirring the pot, her and Tara E. They're both stirring the pot. Okay. Devon says, I'm very confident in who I am. I'm confident for what I stand for, my sound, and everything else. But I'm also not perfect, and I also don't know everything. So I really want somebody, right, who has powers to be like, yeah, this is where you fall short at. So let me show you who Devon is. Let me go to Devon, and I also want to make sure that you get an opportunity to see Dacia. This is Dacia, who said, you're basically going to be crippling yourself. You are absolutely going to be crippling yourself. Let me see if I have a picture of Miss Devon. Not sure whether or not I do. I'm hoping that I do. She went home, but we'll talk about that later on, won't we? Yes, we will. So I don't seem to have a picture of Devon, but this is absolutely Dacia. Okay. And I noticed that they say her name differently throughout the show. So I'm not even really, I don't really even know. Okay. So Tara E goes on to put her comments into it. And she says, so they get an opportunity to go around the room and talk about who they are, what they've been through and stuff like that, because Deb says she wants to know who she's working with. And I find it very funny that Miss Deb knows that Amber is autistic, right? And has autism, but she wants to go around the room to get to know the other girls. And I'm thinking if you had taken probably the same amount of time with the other girls as you did with Amber, we would not have to be going through this exercise. But however, here we find ourselves, and so we go on. Tara E, who I really like, right? I loved her, the grittiness of her voice. I absolutely love the fact that it seems like Tara E, can do gospel. She absolutely can do gospel, but I also think that can be taught, right, to kind of curve some of that off into, some R&B. But anyway, she says that she is a recovering addict and that life got crazy for her. She said when she was a recovering addict, or while she was an addict, she was into prostitution. And she thanks God for a second chance. She indicated that her mother was her backbone, and she recently lost her mother, and so now her father is that. She says that she has been clean for 8 years. And she said, and she thanks God for the support that God has given her, and she thanks God for having the opportunity to be there. And then we go into AJ, who is absolutely different from the other cast, as she has labeled herself. She is the only white girl there. And at this particular time, she believes that she is the only lesbian there as well. And so AJ says that she didn't have any support and did not have a support system. She said that her innocence was taken by four men when she was 8. I could barely get that out. And she says she grew up with parents who were pillheads. So she says she had nobody to talk to. She says she didn't have any money. And she was in a whole lot of pain, and she said it was hurting her. And she said that because she was treated that way when she was a child, that she grew up very fast. She had to grow up very fast. And she said that she never got to heal from those wounds that she experienced. And here's what I have to say about AJ. So when we were first introduced to AJ, and if you have not had an opportunity to go to see my review on this broadcast, please go back to the very first one, because AJ said something that kind of struck me, and you all let me know downtown Oh, hi, sweetie. Welcome. If you would like to join at the end, I would love to have you up to get what you believe your take on this. But here's what I discovered about AJ. When we first met AJ on episode 1, AJ, indicated they had went around and they asked the young ladies, what do you think? What is it about you that makes you stand out? The first thing that AJ said was that she was white. And I was hoping that, as I said in my previous podcast, that I was hoping that she was going to say something about her skills, her talents, her ability. But instead, she is using, I'm the only white girl here. Now, we all know that. And so, okay. But then when she talks about, what happened to her as a child, and God forbid, I mean, that's the worst thing, in my opinion, that can happen to a child ever. But one of the things that she said was that it caused her to grow up um, very quickly. And I think it's the opposite. I think that she has been crippled. And I think that she has been crippled by it. And I don't think that she has grown up very much. I think that, and you all let me know what you think about it. I think that watching the show, it shows for me that AJ has been stunted there. Later on in a different competition, she, had mentioned that she didn't even jump rope when she was a child. And a lot of the ways that she handles situation, especially challenging situations, she reverts back to a child. And so while I think that maybe she had grown up in other areas, maybe a little fast, but like, I don't know, what those areas are. I really see a still 8-year-old little girl who is wounded and has not gotten past what has happened to her. She goes on to discuss, and it says that the reason why she wears a hat, the reason why she does different things is because of what happened to her. And so I think that she is perpetually in that place. And it is my hope that she receives therapy and the real healing that she needs so that she can grow up to the level of expectation, at least that I would think that would be coming from AJ. You all let me know downtown in the comments section what you all think about that. Am I being a little hard on her? Am I thinking wrongly? I just think that a lot of ways that she handles things has been very immature, if I must say so myself. But I'm not going to, crush her or talk poorly about her. This is just an assessment that I have noticed that, I really believe that she and others who are in the house need a lot of therapy. Anyway, so I'm sorry about what happened to her. After AJ, talked about what had happened to her as a child, Dad said that that was powerful. She said, "See, this is the stuff. These are the records I want you all to do in real time. I want you all to talk about what's going on today." She says, because we don't have meaningful records anymore. She said, but y'all listen to Marvin Gaye and Teddy Pendergrass. They talked about all the things that were going on. That's what we need. But in this case, she says they're releasing and they're letting go, and there's some emptiness that's going on inside of these girls, and now she wants to fill it up with love. So the next thing that we know, the girls are going out and they're going to be meeting with Brandon Barnes. Now Brandon Barnes is Miss Deb's nephew or godson or whatever he is. I For some reason I remember him from like Love and Hip Hop, if I think it was, that I used to watch years ago, but it was just so tragic. I just could not continue to watch it anymore, right, y'all? Like I, it's just I had to move on and grow up. And so they're meeting with Brandon Barnes down at a facility, a sports facility, so that they can start doing some working out. They indicate in this episode that in this specific specific scene, that music is more than just singing. And I agree. I have told you all that, I have performed, in the arts for a long time. And yes, it is. But it is not what this was. It has never been what this was. Singing my ABCs while doing, burpees. I thought that this was unnecessary for the girls. I don't think that they're ready for it. But one of the things that I did notice is that another young lady came in and she was doing, the vocal warm ups and stuff, and none of them used their diaphragm. As you all know, if you're in the music industry, that if you are a singer, you have to use your diaphragm, which is why I don't understand how any of these girls made it not using their diaphragm. I can tell a person, and I'm gonna tell you, I can tell off the brickety break whether they're singing through their throat or using their nasal, using their nose. I don't understand why they have made it the way that they have, because a real singer and a real judge of singers is going to want a diaphragm girl. And so when they were singing and she was like, breathe out, and their stomach sucked in, I was like, no, that's what you use to survive. Where you are singing, you use your diaphragm, which means that all of that air is sucked into that diaphragm, and that diaphragm is going to come out and it's going to expand. And so I was really disappointed. Specifically, I was disappointed in Naya. I believe that that's her name, because she said that she comes from legends. And I'm thinking, if you're coming from a legend like that, certainly you know that you have to use your diaphragm in order to sing, maintain a note, for the note to be sharp, which is why I believe one of the girls went home early, because being pitchy, because if you're using your diaphragm, then you don't have room to be pitchy. You just do not have room to be pitchy, because that diaphragm is going to control that air, and that air is going to hit. Now you can use that air and bring the air up and sing through your cheeks, or sing through the back of your throat or whatever, right? You can put it on your tongue, like a piece of candy. When you learned that, when you learn how to, first of all, bring the air up correctly, and then you learn how to direct the air so that it hits different parts of your voice, right? It makes a different sound. Okay. So if you're nasally and you're singing out of your throcuses, then you don't have longevity. You would never be able to do a concert. You would never be able to do, let's say, a concert with more than 4 or 5 songs, child. You got to learn how to use that diaphragm, because it saves everything else. And then if you're using your diaphragm, you can have a sore throat, and it will not affect, right, the way that you sing, even if you have a cold. Remember, I told you all that I had a play that I did, and we did it back to back shows, and I had 103 temperature. I believe I absolutely had the flu, but I was able to hit every key and every note. Folk will tell you, okay, don't trust me, trust them. I never missed never missed a note, never missed anything, hit every note I needed to hit, because I don't rely on this, and neither do I rely on this in order to sing. So I thought that, what happened downtown at the recreation center, or under the dome, if you will, I thought that that was the most important and most, relevant thing that could help the girls and stuff like that. And so, while they were going through different things, this is another thing I wanted to go back and talk about AJ. And when AJ said that she had matured, when AJ was saying that she had matured when she was jumping rope, they had to jump rope and sing, their ABCs. And AJ was not able to do that, okay? Number one, because of her weight, okay? Weight always plays a factor, even for me. And her singing through her throat. And she said that she had not jumped rope since she was a little girl. And this caused her to be very emotional. And I think the thing about it is, while I respect the fact that Miss Deb has a heart for her, she allows these people to use those things as crutches, in my opinion. And I thought that AJ should have been pushed a little bit more and not babyfied. I think that there's a way to motivate and positively motivate people without babying them. You motivate them by having them to acknowledge, first of all, where they are, and then you encourage them, right, through strong words and stuff like that. But the number one thing that they have to do is take accountability. And I think that I don't see Miss Deb particularly making people take accountability. But anyway, I say that because AJ won the golden mic. And I didn't think that she was the best. But Miss Deb, said that this is her show, this is Deb house, and she run it the way she run it. And honey, trust me and believe me, I respect Miss Deb and I respect her decision. But I'm gonna, put my little stuff on it too. Kim said that she was doing so poorly that she was ready to send herself home. And Miss Deb has said that Kimberly believes, because she's over 40 years old, that she can't do things and it's an excuse. But I'm just saying, okay, so we ain't looking at AJ. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? We're not looking at AJ. How can we look at Miss Kim and see Miss Kim flaws and not see AJ's? I absolutely did not think that she was worthy of receiving the golden mic. But this is Miss Deb's way of encouraging the girl and all of that kind of stuff. But trust me and believe me, in real life, you can't encourage people by babyfying them and pacifying them and giving them something that maybe or maybe not they did not deserve. It just depends on who you look at it. Brandon does the skills for each of the girls when they go back to the house and everything. And it sounds absolutely terrible. Devon, who had mentioned that she was from a jazz family and stuff like that, had been pitchy from day one. And again, that goes back to not being able to sing out of your diaphragm. And nobody telling you. Now, she had mentioned last episode when we first were introduced to Devon, she had mentioned that she had some vocal training for 2 years. She should have stayed there, right? Because it is important that when you are a singer or in any craft that you are, that you get as much training as possible. So anyway, they send her home. The girls are singing, doing something AEIOU. And I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. I thought it was something you didn't like. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? He had the girls, when they were downtown on the field. Like I said, he had them running around and, doing different things, that I just was like, it just don't take all of that. But he had the girls, doing the skills, and so one girl, they were all standing in a row, and one girl would have to fill, do the next key, the next octave up, right? For what the other girl would do, right? And so, some of the girls were at the end, probably wasn't their best day in, excuse me, trying to hit those notes and stuff like that. But then when he, began to do the scales with them, and they was, he asked them whether or not they knew their vowels. I was like, who doesn't know their vowels? But I guess maybe the education system is different from when I was in the education system. Y'all let me know downtown in the chat. I really would like to know what you all think about this. So hold on for a second. I don't know why this came up, but hold on. I've lost you all. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. We're back. Okay. And so we are back. So let me bring up my notes again, y'all. So they send Devon home, and Devon is basically thankful for having the opportunity to, go through this and to be selected to be in Deb's house. She understands now, according to her, what she needs to go home and work on, because this is not the end for her. And that's what I'm talking about, taking accountability, not getting mad, not spazzing out or anything like that, right? I just absolutely love that. And so the girls, are now being assigned some beats to create a song. They are going to be getting these beats on I don't know, 1980, 1998, maybe 2000, 2002 MP3 player. And I could not understand that. But anyway, so the girls were told that they can swap the beats if they want to with someone else if they don't like the beat, right? And so, it's like, okay, they got to write this particular song. It is supposed to be coming from a place of maturity, a place of something that went on in their life, XYZ, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. And so the girls are, listening to the beats. Some of them like the beats that they have. Some of them don't. None of the beats, according to Deb, were R&B. She says that, she needs to give them something that's different to see what they do with that. I totally disagree. If you want them to write to sing R&B, then don't give them country music. If you want them, you know what I'm saying? Give them what the genre that you want them to be in. If you want them to be in R&B, then give them R&B tracks. So I just think that these was tracks that was left over from yesteryear, and she just gave them to them because they was on MP3 players. So of course the girls are going through the house and everything, and they're assessing, trying to figure out who has what, who don't have what, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. And so, Darcy, so AJ doesn't like her beat at all. And of course, she comes to the weakest link, which she believes, okay? Because I don't think that Amber is weak. I think that Darcy came to the person she thought was the weakest link. AJ asked Amber if she could change with her. And of course, Darcy then found out about it. Now, they're all supposed to be getting makeovers, and they're going to be judged based on their stage presence and their sound, according to Miss Deb. Darcia is going through the house and really making this an issue. Miss Deb said that one thing about them, two things for sure. She said, you will know unless you get your hair done, you get some makeup on, you can't tell a woman nothing. She said, who has the same beats? The girls go around and start talking about who has the right beats. I mean, who has the same beats? I got the same as Kim, and yeah, I got Ashley, Amber, and Darcy, and I have the same beat. This is Amber. Darcy said, oh, baby, I kept my beat. I played the cards I'm dealt. I kept my beats. But guess what, Darcy? At the end of the day, you're not getting brownie points for that because don't nobody care. The girls have been, the girls have been, I agree with you, Nasa. Okay, you said you didn't get it either. Okay. I don't think none of us got it, okay? I'm glad to see you. Some said stop and look at the comments, Auntie. And so Darcy, so Darcy is like, I'm playing the cards that I got. Sometimes, honey, you need to get a reshuffle. And the thing about it is, it was open to all of them to get a reshuffle. And I think that they should have had an opportunity to get a reshuffle. If you wanted to change, you change. I think that she was trying to make this like a negative thing. Of course, but she's got an axe to grind, okay, if you will, with Amber. We find out later on what that axe is, right? But she really has an axe to grind with Amber. And and when you pinpoint on somebody and you're doing stuff like that, this is bullying. It just straight up is bullying. So Amber says that Darcy is trying to get under her skin. She says she's intimidated because we have the same music. She said, you got to pay attention to that one. Okay. She says, I'm getting to her. Amber thinks that she's getting to Darcy. She said more than she's getting to me. She is over here trying to beat up, basically trying to throw me off, and I already see the game. Then why did you let her throw you off anyway? Then Amber goes to the bathroom talking to herself and talks about the van incident. She talks about it to Naya, right? And Naya agrees with her and was like, girl, yeah, I saw that. I saw all of that. So she knocks on the door. She's like, okay, what's wrong? And she said, it's just a lot. And these people are attacking me. Okay. So let's talk about, yes, I noticed that, niece. Absolutely. The thing about it is she said that these people are attacking me, but you ear hustling. And so maybe I'm wrong about that, but if you're ear hustling and being nosy and you happen to hear something, I think that a person picking on you is a person that's coming directly to you. But let me know, y'all, because I come from a total different generation. And so maybe the terminology picking on me has changed since I was a young child. But anyway, I digress. But if you're ear hustling and you're hearing stuff and then you're taking it right, you're a busybody. You're a busybody. You're stirring the pot, and you want to get people on your side. I don't like stuff like that. I don't agree with stuff like that. But then, okay, it is what it is. Anyway, y'all. So let me move on. So she says, they should. She said, when they got the same beat, she overheard her, and she thought it was her and Tara in the bathroom talking, and she said since then she's been throwing stuff in the van in her spot. So we see them in the van and all of that kind of stuff. She said that she was assigned a seat on the bus and Darcy had gotten in the seat. Okay. Okay. She said they walked out the door and they got into the van, and behold, guess who's sitting in my seat? Darcy. Darcy like, don't be trying to switch up the seats. And it's like, what? First of all, why do grown women need assigned seats? She said, she gonna try anything and everything to get to you. She's trying to get a reaction out of you. But young, you was ear hustling. Nas says that she did peep the behavior and she thinks it's pretty whack for her to do that. She said it just seems like, they are intimidated. And I'm like, okay. Or lack confidence because you think that you're going to win. And that's just silly. Amber says, I'm not stupid, bitch. Okay. Darcy says it feels like school. Y'all got to chill. She said it's always that pressure. That pressure will expose you. But guess what, Darcia? You are trying to put the pressure down on the girl. You are the pressure. You are the one that is trying to apply the pressure to her to expose her, right? Because something is off about her. Meanwhile, Amber's in the bathroom going off, and then Dave comes up. Darcy downtown in the bathroom talking with Tara E, who really is one of the main posters downtown to the house. Okay, I think all of them got their little petty stuff, right? But I thank God for being an introverted person because it could be 50 different conversations going on around me. And honey, you would think that I had autism. I know how to block out. I know how to block people out. I know how to block certain circumstances out because I am an introvert. And an introverted person does not get the energy from being around other people with a whole bunch of bullshit going on and a whole bunch of talking. I know how to be in a room full of people and be in my own world because I have had to do that growing up with a whole bunch of brothers and sisters. Growing up with a whole bunch of brothers and sisters and a mommy and a daddy and a dog and a cat in the household. I have learned how to do that. So when people are sitting around and they got this going on and that going on, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of things I miss. Now, I catch what I need to catch, right? I catch tea, but I am not the type of person that even would have heard her talking in the bathroom. So Darcy goes into the bathroom. She with Tara E, and she said, "Yeah, it looked like Amber is slated to win this thing." She said it looked like she slated to win it. She is a plant, and Amber is standing outside the bathroom. She hear what's going on, but she don't get up and go in there and approach nobody. No, you need to thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa said, I love that show. Okay. All right. I'm just like, what? Meanwhile, Amber is in the bathroom going off, and Dave walks up in the house, and Dave. Okay, hold on for 1 second, y'all. Okay. And Deb hears her going off, right? She calling all kinds of pineapple head monkey. I'm just like, what is going on? Deb walks in and says, what's wrong with you? I walk in the door and you all emotional and all of that kind of stuff. This girl's sitting up in the bathroom having a meltdown. So her having a conversation with Naya didn't do her any good. She said, okay, here we go. Are you okay? She was like, I'm fine. I'm just a little overwhelmed. You were in there calling people all kinds of names and talking loud while other people in the home is not just a little overwhelmed. One thing I noticed about Amber, Amber tell a lie. Now, Amber tell a lie real quick, honey. I'm going to tell you, and she said that, she overheard Deja, and Tara E in the bathroom. She didn't say Tara E. She just said Deja because, Darcia, because she's on to Darcia, right? And she said, it's like, she says, like, she said that there's something going on between you and I. And see, that's not clear. You didn't articulate what was really going on and what it was that you really heard. If you want to tell it, tell a whole truth, tell a whole story, so help you God. So anybody got to make nothing up and try to figure out, okay? All right? What is going on, Vanessa? We are so happy that you are here, but we don't do all caps because we don't do all caps in the comment section because YouTube sees it as cursing and will flag my video, okay? And hold up the processing of my video upload. So yeah, it's okay, Bookie. It's okay. I don't know if Ray Della's out there now, but it's okay, boo. I saw it. It's all right. We love you being here, okay? You probably don't know, but when you get off of a video and you upload the video, right, and it'll take it through an upload process, and then it'll be able to put ads or whatever on it. Well, if it sees different things that in the live chat, it will absolutely hold your video up from uploading because it wants to make sure that there's not cursing, that there's no disruptions or anything like that going on downtown to the comment section. That's all, boo. We good. And so anyway, she says, she feels like it's a setup. And Deb is like, oh, okay, well, let's go on. Well, let's have she said, God dang, these girls acting like they on 90-day lockup. And she was like, they watch too much daggone reality TV. So Deb gathers all the girls together and says, like, this is not 90-day lockup. Y'all watch a lot of reality TV. Let me have everybody. I need everybody. I need everybody. Deb was like, I need everybody. I need everybody. I need everybody. I need all of y'all, okay? About, let's go on up in this room. I need to talk to everybody. She said, I met everybody. I don't know Amber. I met everybody in this room on TikTok. I don't know one person. I don't know where that came from. So Darcy was like, okay, you're looking at me. I don't know where it came from either. Did because she's uncomfortable. Because she overheard you in a conversation about her. Darcy was like, she didn't hear me. I said, Darcy, come on now, boo. You know that well you was daggone well you was up in that daggone bathroom talking about that girl, and every time you got to get a chance, boo, you talking about her. All you need is a crowd. Darcy is the type of person, honey, that if I had to get up in it, I would manipulate everybody to cut her off because she's the type of person, she can't do nothing without a crowd. Girl, if you don't sit your 1977 hairstyle looking box braid, like she got the box, but she ain't got the braids. I'm like, girl, if you don't sit your butt down, anyway. So, she was like, she hear me say nothing about you knowing her because I didn't say that. And so Dave was like, "What you upset for?" She was like, "I'm not upset. I'm just saying, like, I didn't say that, so I can't explain to you what that was. I didn't say that." So Dave was like, "So she overheard you talking in the bathroom." So Darcy was like, "But she overheard who though? Who she overheard?" Because several people come in my bathroom. I share bathrooms with. You should let me know what if there's four people in the bathroom. Amber, she was like, shut up. Amber was like, shut up, stop talking. Who was in Darcy's bathroom this morning, child? Ain't nobody say nothing. Do y'all hear me when I say ain't nobody say nothing? If you ever heard of that song, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you want to talk to me. Honey, that's where that was. Because nothing from nothing left nothing. She never had nothing. When she was trying to talk to her, child, I was crying. I mean, it was like crickets, and now I was like, I'm stirring the pot. She was like, "You know that cricket sound?" Okay. She said, "Nah." I said, everybody must have washed up in the pool this morning because apparently nobody was in the bathroom, so nobody wanted to fess up. So Amber was like, "So all signs is pointing to you, Deja." I'm sorry. So Darcy was like, "All signs pointing to who?" She said, "So now you're not making sense because if nobody else was in the bathroom with me, who am I talking to?" See, Darcy, I would have bust her on that because if you gonna sit up there and say four people was in there, pick them. Any, meeny, miny, mo, the motherfuckers up in here. Because what you not gonna say now is that nobody was in the bathroom with you when you just sat up there and said four people were in there with you. I'm telling you, Darcy, don't play the game with me, boo, because I'm already woke before you even get up to start with your lies. I'm already woke. So now you talk about, and now you're not making sense because if nobody else was in the bathroom with me, then who was I talking to? The four people you just said was up in there. Pick one of them. That's what you gonna do up in here. You gonna pick one of them. Excuse me, y'all. I they had to pull me off, Darcy. Because what we not gonna do is sit in here and play games with one another. That's what we not doing, boo. No, we not doing that. Because you just admitted. Anyway, she said, if you thought this was the issue this morning, you could have come and talked to me this morning. And I don't do snitching and name dropping and a finger pointing. I know the conversation when I said about her and what you and your feelings because you think people talking about you. You want to know who said what and what's going on. You worry about the wrong thing. They're going to keep talking about you. Everybody going to talk about you. I ain't going to hold you. So you don't know me. Like I don't even move like that. If I would have said that, sweetheart, I would pull you aside and have a conversation. Then why didn't we have a conversation? Because your show said this. So then why didn't you pull me away, Miss Baltimore? Why you ain't pull me to the side? Because you sure said this. You didn't say it exactly like that. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how you verbatim said it. You said it looked like Amber, is set up to win, that she's going to win a competition. Now, we all going to sit back and see whether or not that happened, but you're the one that said that about your mouth, and you thought that she was a plant. That's what you said. So if you miss Baltimore, and you representing Baltimore, the thug life, the truth life, then you should have been, you be sitting up in here instead of you and I having this conversation. We'll be having a conversation about what you really said. And Amber gonna talk about, she a lie, her breath stink because she got that one yellow too. I said, bitch, I'm tired. I said, I'm tired, tired, I'm tired, birthday, I'm tired. Okay, okay. How about that? Picture that. Okay. What in the, you need to stop, y'all. You ain't thorough like that. Because if you were straight thorough, you know, well, Baltimore's not DMV, but if you straight Baltimore and you like that, you that thug girl like that, and you walking around with your old Mary J. Blige hairdo, you should be big enough and bad enough to say what you did say instead of sitting up in here backpedaling and pussy popping. Talking about some sweetheart. I would have pulled you to the side. You ain't got enough guts in you, honey, to pull me to the side. You ain't got enough chicken wings and mumbo stores. And hot crinkly fries with the salt and pepper. Are you what? Amber said, I don't believe you, ma'am. You still lying. And that's why I'm sorry because you make me this mad. That's why you got that one yellow tooth because you lied. And people who lie breath stink. So Dad was like, for the rock. I don't script nothing. I don't sit up in here and pretend nothing. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. That's why I'm not in here with y'all. Because I want each one of y'all to be exactly who the you are. Because I'm in there. If I'm in there, you're going to go in front of me. Everybody knows I do not do drama. Here's how it's going to go. Bags checked, flights booked, mics dropped. That's where it's no more fun. I shouldn't hear laughing. I shouldn't hear nothing. If I have it booked, we'll start elimination now. So, they ended up going in there with their little MP3s. Deb and said what, she had to say and all that kind of stuff, right? It is what it is. So, Amber, she gets up there and sing her song. And I said, so they got on, what you call about her butt crack showing. So Amber butt crack ain't showing on the side with that slit going all the way up. Or maybe this was another day. But, honey, I'm going to tell you right now, she sound horrible. She said she forgot all her words. And so she went on and just screamed and cried through a song. I ain't got it to do. I ain't got it to do with Amber. She take too many breaths from me. I don't want to be sitting in the concert and she taking all them breaths. I need somebody to just get up there and sing. So Amber is outside, so now, Darcy gets up there and Darcy about to do her thing, you know what I'm saying? And so, Darcy is up there singing and everything. And then, she brags at the end, you know what I'm saying? That, she brags at the end that she kept her beat. Well, that's a moot point because they had already given you permission. Meantime, and in between time, Amber outside stomping up and down. This is the same girl that said that ain't nobody getting to her, and she got her together and all of this so kind of bull crap. And you know what I'm saying? And the girl ain't getting to her, and she ain't about to tear her down and all this so bull crap. And then you in a parking lot, acting like a kid in a water puddle. In a puddle of water, stomping up and down. They just want to hate me. They just want to. I said, wait a minute, what the is going on here? What is going on? You outside screaming and hollering, and the girl got to come in through somebody else's session and say, I'm sorry, Miss Deb. Amber's in the parking lot, spazzing the fuck out. Put her out. Put her out. What are we doing here? Why ain't this girl gone? Absolutely. And you want to call it something that it's not. This is just immaturity, in my opinion. Miss Deb always got to be fighting for her. Girl, when your mama put you on the bus, that yellow bus, well, we ain't take the yellow bus. We took Metro. But in other counties, they take yellow buses and stuff. DC, no. The only time you gonna get on a bus is if something's wrong with you, right? And I don't mean that in a negative way, so don't take it in every way. But in DC, you either walk to school or you was going to Metro. You got what they call tokens. And you had to go down to the Metro Center and go and get your bag of tokens, 10 for $1. Or was it 10 for, I don't know. But you had to go down to Metro and get it. You got on that bus in the morning with a token, a silver token. First they was gold, then they turned them joints to silver. That's how you got to school. That's how you got to school, young. Ain't nobody play with you. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Someone dropped the link for Miss Nessa, Miss Nisha. Come on, boo. She said she wanted to come up and give her little, 2 cents on the podcast. Come on up, sweetie. Come on up, Bookie. I got it, Ray Della. Ray Della said, drop that link. Y'all, that's the end of my review. We're going to go ahead on and talk to Miss Nassa. Come on, boo. Because you've been all over them comments. Come on in here, honey. If y'all don't know Nisa, Nisa is from, Nessa is, why am I calling her Nisa? Nessa. Nisa is from 1,000-pound roomies. So we're gonna give her an opportunity to come up here and have her say so and get her say in, okay? She know how to use the link and everything. She done been up here so many times. Okay. Come on up, sweetie. But I'm just saying, the girl doesn't have the maturity. Neither her or AJ, in my opinion, have the maturity that it takes to be on this daggone show. And I'm so sick of Miss Deb doing that. What's that, boo?
Hey, Auntie, I love you so much. Girl, you wearing a hat today, girl.
Thank you. I don't know why I thought you was Nessa from 1,000 pounds. But anyway, you go ahead on and tell us what you think.
You thought I was Nisha.
You have her
I wish
same
I was
name.
that famous queen.
Let me see.
Almost. I just don't have the eight. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday. What's up? What you think, boo?
Yeah. Listen, I know y'all are only on the second episode, so I can't give
Yeah,
no
please don't
spoilers,
do
but
no
this is my
spoilers.
thing.
No spoilers.
I'm not gonna do no spoilers, Auntie, because I know y'all got to catch up. But this is my thing. You know, Brandon and Miss Deb had their thing, so she kind of gives him a little repass and let him do his thing, the little artist development and everything. Um, that was some tad
Keep
vocal
your camera
training that he
still.
called himself.
Keep your
Oh, I'm
camera
sorry.
still because I have people that have seizures, epilepsy seizures. So keep your camera
Um,
still.
I
You
was
can move. Don't let the camera move.
that was some tad vocal training out there on that video, out there on that football field. That was number one. That had to be some drama for the show, cause that ain't vocal training. I know you're a professional. I know you ain't never done no vocal training out there on no football field.
Mm-mm.
I know you haven't. And I was laughing because when you said that you had to do a play, when I was in college, I was working on a million jobs, and I said, let me do a play, and I lost voice. I took some vapor rub, so I could perform. And again, I said you got your diaphragm, but I did what I had to. And I was sitting there thinking about all that rehearsing and all the things, and the show must go on. You do what you have to do. But when you're singing from your diaphragm, that mess that they were doing, and all them excuses and all that, we're not trying to watch um the women of Brewster's Place. We want to see folks get their careers and get things going. You know, I don't mind a little backstory, but I want to get beyond all of that. You know, um, that whole that cattiness and all of that. I don't want to see all of that. I want to see you all get into the rehearsals. I want to see you getting into the songs, getting into the music. I want to see you all getting to the craft. That's what I want to see. And I was getting so irritated. I just wanted to punch that girl Amber. I was like, girl, if you don't take them shades off. My mama didn't let me walk around with no shades on in the house. I'm like, you are too daggone old to be walking around with shades on. That was so disrespectful to me. Because it's like, why are you sitting on the inside? To me personally, it's disrespectful. This woman is a professional and she's trying to help you get your career. Why are you sitting there with shades on? At some point, you need to grow up. You're not treating her like a professional. That was my thing. Everybody else got stuff going on. Why are you acting like you special? Who are you?
Right. Well, Miss Deb
And
is
and
allowing her to act like she's special.
and that's what I'm saying. The dad just sitting there letting her act like a 3-year-old toddler. I'm like, you're 30 some years old. Get yourself together. Get it together. And all of them, after they heard everybody's story, the one thing that I don't really care for Daisha or whatever her name is. The one thing I do like about her is she knows how to compartmentalize all that other stuff. You know, okay, I'm trying to get to the bag. You put your emotions in your pocket because there's a job to be done.
She says that, but that is
I'm
not how
trying to
she
get that
has
bag.
acted. Does not know how to
No, she has.
compartmentalize, or she would not be in the bathroom stirring up stuff and then backing off of what. No, she don't know how to departmentalize nothing. She fake. She's stirring the pot
Well,
and she
she's
hiding
fake.
her
You
hands. She's
trying to
throwing a
act as if
rock
she's fake.
and she's hiding her hands. That's what she's doing. She's trying to act as if she didn't do nothing. And and that ain't cool. That gets no
Well,
cool
getting
point
into the
and no
bathroom is a safe
respect.
space.
I beg your
I'm
pardon?
saying on the front, you know, but you think the bathroom is a safe space, so that's why she did that.
No, she been starting stuff from day A. I don't know if you've been watching it, but she started something from day A when she switched the seats up on the bus. Like, and then she always got something to say. Her and
I
Tara
had
E.
forgot about that.
Yeah, she don't know
I
how
had
to
forgot about that.
departmentalize nothing.
That's
She
why.
throwing rocks and she hiding her hand. That's what she doing. That's what she doing. She a pot stirrer, and I would check her little butt.
Well, we gonna see that. That I'm just saying that she's trying to. I'm trying to figure her out how she's trying to. I wish she could take that messiness out of it, but I like the way she's supposed to be trying to be professional. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay,
She's
okay.
messy, but I like
In
that
front
she's
of Miss Deb.
supposed to be professional. I think that's the
In
way.
front of Miss Deb.
Right,
Like Miss Deb said, if I was around
right.
here, I want to see who y'all really are. And if I was around here, y'all be walking a straight line, which is what she's doing. But I'm gonna tell you right now in the business, she couldn't stay in the business starting this kind of stuff. Ain't nobody gonna deal with her with dealing with that with all of the things that go into pulling off a production and stuff like that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody
I
got time for
agree.
that.
I agree.
Yeah, she very negative. She's very negative, and she thinks that her gift is going to take her somewhere. And your gift, your gift. She was the one that said it in the first episode. She said that your talent will get you in the room, but your character will keep you there. Well, her character is not going to keep her in this room. I guarantee you, her character is not going to keep her in the room. Cause ain't nobody got time. Don't nobody care how talented. She not Mariah Carey, girl. Bye. So yeah, she
But you
she
know,
she
this is I'm gonna tell you who Amber reminds me of. She sounds like she's trying to sound like Chrisette Michelle. Have you noticed that?
Uh-uh. I don't know really
That's who
Chrisette
she
Michelle
reminds.
music. She trying to sound like Macy Gray to me.
Macy Gray. It's a cross between Macy Gray and Chrisette Michelle. That's who her sound is. That's who she's trying to sound like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have not
That's why
heard
she's different.
yeah, I don't really know Chrisette Michelle's music, to be honest with you. But I don't
I
like how
do.
she
I do.
sound. I don't like how she sound, period.
But
It's too
that's what
wordy, I
she's
mean
trying to
breathy
sound like.
and all that, and that's because she's not using her diaphragm. So it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of spaces in between. I couldn't sit in no concert and listen to nothing she had to say.
But she's another one that's autistic. Kind
Well, I ain't gonna be diagnosing nobody. You got anything else before I
no, she
close this off?
recently came out and said she was autistic. Autistic. She recently came out and said that she found out she was
Who
autistic.
said this? Who said this?
Chrisette Michelle. She recently came out and
Oh,
said
I
she
thought
found
you
out
was
she was
talking about the
autistic.
girls. Yeah, I wasn't talking about Chrisette. I thought you was talking about Darcia.
Oh no, not Darcy, Amber.
No, you said Chrisette Michelle said that she is. Is that what
Chrisette
you
Michelle
saying?
is autistic. Uh-huh. Chrisette Michelle came out recently and said that she's autistic. That's why she's so odd acting.
I'm looking it up
That's why
now.
she's so odd.
I'm looking it up now to see if it's anything out here on the web that verifies that. Yeah, so it says that in
And
June
I'm
of
surprised.
2025, she posted Kashat Michelle has publicly revealed that she was diagnosed with autism as an adult. She said, I just learned I'm autistic, official diagnosis. They used the word severely. She later clarified she was diagnosed as level 2, which is considered severe per DSM-5 categories, and discussed it how the diagnosis gives context to many challenges she experienced. Um, yeah,
Mm.
so but she ain't the topic of this conversation. But thank you so much for sharing that because I guess a lot of us didn't know. I don't follow her. I don't know who she is really. I can't name one song that she just never was my style. I don't really know her. But thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, she first came out, she financed her own music and everything.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead on and drop you down because I'm in this. You want to say anything in closing?
No, just that I love you. I hope you have an amazing week this week, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of the series. And I hope I don't miss the reviews because it's some good stuff coming up. I just can't wait to talk to you about it.
Okay. Well, thank you, sweetie, for coming up, Miss Nessa.
You're
Mwah.
welcome, Auntie. I love you. Take care. Have an
Love you
amazing week,
too,
okay,
boo.
sweetie? Thank
Okay.
you so much, baby. Bye bye.
Bye. So that was interesting news about Chrisette Michelle. I don't listen to her. Like I said, I can't name one song. One song she did, but I'm hoping that you all enjoyed this podcast. These are saved in my podcast file, so if you are looking for them, that's where they are. I really do appreciate you all's love and your support. And I will be back, I'm sure, very, very soon. I am in the process now of writing my notes for part 3 of this series, and I'm hoping that you all like it and that you stay with me. Thank you so much, Ray Della, for moderating the chat. And until we meet again, y'all, please be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.